Hi, everyone. I'm Shaylin Burbig. I'm from Coon Rapids, from Anoka County DFL, and I'm here with Matt Norris, and he is with Senate District 32B, and that's parts of Blaine and Lexington.
Yep.
So why don't we just start by telling me about yourself?
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Shaylin. This is a great opportunity to talk a little bit more about the work that I've been doing and how I got involved in politics. So this is my second term representing District 32B. Prior to getting elected, I was the policy director for a statewide nonprofit for youth. And so in that capacity, I had the opportunity to work in bipartisan fashion to get a number of bills passed into law. And I said, I've kind of got a knack for this. And so I said, why don't I give it a shot? So in 2022, I ran and was able to win and got reelected in 2024. I'm a lawyer by background. I still do a little bit of legal work on the side as well. But really throughout my career, it's really been focused on ways to serve the community, especially young people. That's really been a through line from the very early start of my career when I was about 16 years old, and have been also a North Metro resident all my life. So this part of the Metro is home to me.
And so you started when you were 16. What high school did you go to?
So I went to Totino Grace High School, but I was growing up in Brooklyn Park. And when I was 16, Brooklyn Park started a new program where they appointed youth liaisons to the various city commissions. And so I got appointed to the Citizen Long Range Improvement Committee, and at my very first meeting, we were looking at a citizen survey, and the number one concern of residents at the time was crime, especially youth crime. And, all the adults were kind of sitting around the table grumbling about what do we do about these unruly kids. And so I eventually worked up the courage to sheepishly raise my hand, and I said, well, the reason these kids are getting into trouble is there's nothing for them to do in the community. And they kind of stopped for a second and said, yeah, you might be onto something.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah. Although in government, the way it works, you had to form a subcommittee to explore for a year and a half and verify there really was nothing for young people to do. But then we shifted to thinking about what are the solutions. And it became clear that it was really too big of a challenge for one entity or organization to tackle alone. And we needed to bring together a coalition. So we brought together the city, the county, the school districts, the local community colleges, businesses, faith communities, nonprofits, young people themselves, their parents. And we started what at the time was called the Youth Opportunities Coalition. Now it's still going strong today as the Brooklyn Bridge Alliance for Youth. And the city council, I remember they approved the idea of it on a Monday night. That Tuesday morning, I was hired as the first part-time employee to help implement it. And like I said, have really been involved in youth work in kind of one shape or form ever since.
Mm-hmm. And so is that something that you were seeking out, or was that something that somebody just said like, oh, I know this nice kid, Matt? Like,
no, I always had an interest in politics, really kind of going back to middle school. And so when this new program came around in Brooklyn Park, where it was an opportunity for young people to start getting involved in that political process, I leapt at the opportunity and said this would be a good way to get some experience and kind of see what this is all about. And I loved it. And that's why I've tried to, maintain that involvement in public policy really throughout my entire career.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me right now. I've got a girlfriend, but my parents still live here in the North Metro as well. I became an uncle for the first time earlier, late last year. So I'm excited. Actually going to get a chance to go visit my niece here soon. They live out on the West Coast. I've got a large extended family on my mom's side here, in Minnesota. And so, in that sense, kind of born and raised here in Minnesota. Okay. But then I've also, my dad's side comes from Indiana and Ohio. So I've got a lot of Midwest in my blood.
Yeah. So what type of hobbies do you have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a big sports fan. That's where I spend a lot of my time when I'm not working. It's either playing or watching sports. I love rooting for the Vikings, rooting for the Gophers. I like both football and college basketball. I also like playing and watching tennis and golf. I always start each summer with grand ambitions of playing a ton of tennis, playing a ton of golf, and I never seem to get to do as much of it as I had hoped. But that's some of what I do to spend my time. I also play the piano. I've played the piano since second grade.
Wow.
I've been in a few little bands here and there over the years, but right now just play for fun when I've got some spare time.
When I have spare time.
Yeah, and then I also like to volunteer in the community. So for instance, I am a part of the Blaine Festival Committee, the committee that puts on the Blaine Festival here in town every year. I'm on the St. Tim's Social Justice Committee. So various ways to get involved in the community.
When you were in school, what was like your favorite subject?
Probably math.
Yeah.
I liked math. I was an analytical math sort of person.
That's not most people's favorite subject. What color are you like? I don't know. Maybe you're not type of. What color was your math folder? I feel like every year
so I definitely I don't know that I kept a consistent color every year, but I definitely was the person who had a specific folder for a specific subject and everything, and was very organized that way. Had to have a system.
Me and my husband have talked about this before. Like, we associate different colors with like different subjects, and like I think like math is blue for some reason. I don't know, and I think that social studies is like orange.
Okay, all right,
I don't know why, but like those are the associations that I've made in my head. And what do you like to learn about now? Like
for me, it's mostly like current events and history. When I don't get a ton of time to read, but when I read, it's either catching up on the news or it's reading nonfiction. Reading about right now I'm actually reading a book about Hubert Humphrey, a biography on him, and so it's what is interesting to me, and also I think it helps with the job that I do to learn about those sorts of things. Yeah.
You mentioned that you've always been interested in politics. So like when you were a kid growing up, what was the thing that you wanted to be?
Well, so very first thing I ever wanted to be was a garbage man.
Okay, obviously.
I loved garbage trucks when I was a kid. I could hear a garbage truck a mile away, and I'd rush out to the end of the driveway waiting for it to come. Then I went through a phase where I wanted to be a meteorologist.
Okay.
And I still love the weather. I took a meteorology class in college, and it was one of my favorite classes I took.
And you like math, so
I like math, so maybe I could always fall back on that if I need to. Then I went through a phase where I wanted to be the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings. I still say that that's the one job that if they were to call and offer me the job, I would drop everything and I would go take that job. But I think at some point I really did kind of land on this idea of wanting to be involved in public policy in some shape or form. Had an ambition to run for office at some point or someday when I felt like I was in a position to be able to offer a lot to my community. And so in many ways, I feel like now I'm doing the work that I was always called to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As for the garbage truck thing, I have a daycare. I don't know if you know that. I have a home daycare, and I think every little boy goes through that phase of wanting to be a garbage man. That's like the favorite activity right now is that they will dump out piles of buckets, of toys, and then they will want to be the garbage man. I've had to put a little bit of a halt on that because then they don't want to pick anything up. But
there's something that's so compelling about those big trucks and everything.
And anytime we're outside and like a garbage truck comes by, all the kids, they just run to the fence. They have to watch it. They love garbage trucks and like excavators. Those are the excavators. Blippi, I think, has really brought excavators into the limelight. They don't want to be a construction worker. They just want to be an excavator driver. They just
well, it's good for our friends at the 49ers. If we've got a whole generation of folks who want to grow up and become operating engineers.
Yeah. So we're like coming on to fall. What is your favorite fall activity?
Oh, all right. So I'm not a big fan of fall.
Oh my gosh.
I know there's some people who are definitely on team fall. I'm not a team fall person.
What is your favorite? What is your favorite season? And then tell me what your favorite activity is.
My favorite season is definitely summer.
Okay.
I love just the nice weather here in Minnesota and being able to go out and do all kinds of activities. I would say actually my favorite thing about fall is football season starting. So,
it's tomorrow, right?
It is.
Okay.
NFL starts tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. And, I love just, sitting on the couch and watching the game. There's also, I like doing corn mazes and stuff. My girlfriend and I went and did a corn maze last year. It was a after dark corn maze.
Oh.
Neither of us realized that they didn't provide flashlights.
Yeah.
You were supposed to bring your own. So luckily we had our cell phones and those flashlights. We had enough battery that we were able to get by with using the little flashlights on my cell phone. But keep that in mind in the future. They don't provide flashlights.
That's a good thing to know.
Corn mazes.
After dark corn mazes. That's interesting. That's tough.
It is.
we like, going families like to go apple picking.
Yeah.
I love to go to the ones that are just an apple orchard though.
Okay.
I feel like you go to those like big festivals and they're so much fun and love to do that too. But like, you forget that you even picked apples.
Yes, yeah.
And the kids just want to go run and do the fun things. So we've started, we'll do that, but we'll also just do like an apple orchard.
Okay,
so that because that's fun by itself.
Yep,
you know?
And the apples are so good when you pick them direct from the tree.
Apple cider and like cinnamon donuts. So good.
Yeah.
So good. Fall person.
I'm not a big movie person to begin with, and then I'm not a fall person.
The next time we do this, we'll have to do it in the middle of summer. So
I blame it on my sister. So my sister, she was born on Halloween. In fact, she was born in the Halloween blizzard. So Halloween has always been like her thing. Yeah. And so
does she love Halloween?
Yeah, I think because it's associated with her birthday and everything. So I've that's Halloween and all that stuff has always been kind of her thing. So I've always just naturally as the brother sought out my own path.
Yeah, makes sense. You must like Christmas more than
I am a big Christmas
takes away
guy.
one of my this or that questions because it was Halloween or Christmas.
Okay, yeah.
So have you seen Hocus Pocus though?
I've not seen Hocus Pocus.
Oh my gosh. Yes. But you know what? It's probably one of those movies
this is on
where
my to-do list now.
Well, you know what? But it's probably one of those movies where if you don't see it as a kid, you might not like it as an adult. Right. So I recommend you see it just because I like it. Yeah. But I also could understand if you didn't like it because as an adult watching it, that's how I feel about. I'm going to lose some followers right now, but Star Wars, I never watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
So I tried watching it and I was like, I can't get and I like sci-fi.
I like it. All right. I was say some people just don't like sci-fi.
I like
sci-fi.
Like sci-fi.
And you're not into
my
Star Wars.
Probably number one, well, not number one, but one of my favorite movies is Independence Day.
Yeah.
Love end of the world sci-fi movies. Yeah. That's my thing. Mm-hmm. But Star Wars, I couldn't get through 5 minutes of it. I was like,
which one did you start with? Did you start with
the first one?
The episode 4 or episode 1?
I guess episode 4, the first one ever made.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Because a lot of people don't like the first 3. So if you had started with the episode 1, I could see where you.
No, I've heard that people don't like that.
Yeah.
So one. If you could have a superpower, what would it be? Speaking of sci-fi.
It would probably be to stretch time because I've always got more I want get done in a day than I can. So like, there's some days where like, if I could just like stretch out an extra hour or something.
So
like,
you're not asking for super speed. You're asking for time to slow down. Or you could add more time to a day. That would be good too.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what would be a really good one? If you could pause time, but still do what you want to do, and then press play again. Like, that would be
or
really
a great moment or something. You're sitting on the beach on vacation, and you want to like just pause time and soak it in. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's one I haven't heard of before. That's new, original. And if your favorite fictional character.
I mean, I'm a big fan of the Harry Potter series, so I was kind of like the Hermione Granger, growing up, the like studious one, the one who's always got the plan and the strategy and everything. The other one that I always felt like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Remember the Titans.
Yep.
But there's the coach's daughter in that film who like just always gets all bent out of shape about the games and stressed out and everything. Like that was me as a kid, like with the Vikings and everything, like stomping around the house and everything.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
So I always identified with her character in that movie.
Yeah. Do you have? So you decide which one you want, and we can discuss. We have a little bit of time.
All right.
This or that, and you don't like fall, so you might not like this question.
Oh boy, all right.
Pumpkin spice coffee or hot cocoa or hot cider. You can choose one of those.
Hot cider.
Hot cider.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
I would choose probably hot cocoa.
Okay.
But I would like either of the other ones. But if I had to choose one of those, it would be hot cocoa. Chocolate, I mean.
Well, so I've got a dairy allergy, so hot cocoa's out for me. And I don't drink coffee, so but I do like cider.
And that may be related to your dairy allergy too, because most people put milk in it.
That's true. Yeah.
So, and you already answered this question: fiction or non-fiction. You already answered that.
Yeah.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl.
Okay, I would not, just based on this conversation, I would have predicted
I was up at the crack of dawn, and for some reason, like my energy, like, I could like work all night long, but I prefer to sleep in if I can.
Yeah. Marvel Universe or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Okay. The last guy I talked to Doug Chapin, was my last one. I just posted his yesterday, if you haven't seen it.
All right, I'll check it out.
And he liked have you seen Andor?
I have not.
He recommended watching that.
Okay,
so that's
all right.
That's something
I'm getting all kinds of recommendations here from my to-do list.
On your way to work, are you listening to the radio or are you listening to a podcast?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I don't like the radio or like the car is like the one time a day when I get silence and it's quiet, and so I just like to.
I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
Being in daycare, I get if I go somewhere afterwards, I just want silence.
Exactly.
I just totally understand that. Would you rather have breakfast for dinner or dinner for breakfast?
Good question. I would say breakfast for dinner. Like I would really like, pancakes and sausages. I would eat that for dinner.
Yeah. The first time I read that, I was like, that's a weird question. Most people choose breakfast for dinner, right?
Yeah,
because that's a common thing.
Yeah.
I am totally.
Who's gonna eat spaghetti for breakfast?
Me.
All right. Okay.
I'll eat breakfast foods, but I really would rather eat dinner.
Okay. All right.
If you could get a glimpse of the future or the past, what would you choose?
Boy, that's a tough one. I feel like the future, because the past, like you could read books and everything about what's happened in the past. Yeah. So I think
those are kind of glimpses.
I think
But science fiction.
Yeah.
What happens if you change? Then if you change
you go to the future,
what if you go there and it's like
it's
like you see a big war or something, and you're like, I have to prevent this from happening.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's what I would want to know. Like, all right, like this big war's coming. What can we do to stop it?
Yeah, but what if stopping it
then causes an asteroid to hit? Isn't that like the butterfly effect or something they call it? Yeah. So, maybe it's best to just stay where we are.
I mean, no, it's just an interesting question to see, what would you do?
Yeah.
Would you choose pasta or pizza?
I would say pasta.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of pasta do you like?
I like just regular spaghetti with a nice red meat sauce.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a fancy kind of guy. Just standard spaghetti.
I didn't have Alfredo until I was in high school.
Yeah.
And I had it at a friend's house, and I was like, how have I not ever had this before? But I like making a good like meat sauce. I like making my own, like I'll eat, jarred or whatever. But my favorite is definitely like making my own.
Oh yeah. See,
making it a tiny bit spicy, like not spicy, but like just a teensy little bit of a spice. You already answered Halloween or Christmas, and that would be a tough one for me. I love Halloween.
I mean,
any kind of, today's actually my birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday!
Thank you. And I see like today. This is totally like a me thing. Yeah. I see today as like the kickoff of the holiday season in my mind. Because like, as your kid, your birthday is like the biggest thing in the world, right?
That's true, yeah.
And it's like, and then we get into the fall, like it's just a festive season.
Christmas,
starting with my birthday.
Yeah.
And it sometimes it's on Labor Day. Mm-hmm. So Labor Day, and then we get into the fall festivities. And so it's just like the kickoff for me of the holiday season.
I like that. One big season of celebration.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season. Which is good because it's fun.
Yeah, we need more joy and celebration in our lives these days.
Would you rather go to a zoo or to an aquarium?
Probably a zoo. I like both, but probably a zoo.
And a lot of times zoos have like a little aquatic area.
You get both, but I like the variety of the animals that you get to see at a zoo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we have we have sea life. Was it sea life in the mall?
Yes. Yeah.
And are there any other aquariums that you know of?
I don't know that we've got any other ones now.
We've got a couple of zoos.
Yes,
but
we do have a couple of zoos. And at the zoos, I like watching the monkeys. One time when I was a kid, some guy, this was back when they had film cameras, he dropped his camera into the monkey enclosure, and you should have seen those monkeys ripping that thing apart and pulling out the film and everything. It was too bad for that guy, but for everybody else, it was hilarious to watch.
It's like watching somebody read a book on a boat and then they drop it into the ocean. Yeah. I'm from Connecticut, so I've seen somebody do that before. I feel like it's a similar feeling. Gosh, that's awful. Would you rather? We're in the fall. I'm in fall mode, obviously, because it just feels like I feel like normally this year at this time of year, I still feel very summer.
Yes, this is odd to have this cool weather.
Yeah. Chili or soup?
Chili. Yeah.
I like making chili. I also love soup. Yeah. If I could just choose like soup and salad for dinner every day.
Yeah, soup for me it's too watery. It doesn't have enough substance.
What about stew?
Stew, I love stew.
Stew's good.
So stew, chili, those,
I like, being from New England, I love chowder. I love clam chowder, seafood chowder, Manhattan or New England. The Manhattan's probably my favorite.
Okay,
but,
all right.
Yeah. So that's all my questions, but you have the opportunity to say, what is there anything else that you would like people to just know about you? Not politically necessarily, but just know about you as a person.
I think we covered most of the bases. I mean, when I don't have my political hat on, I'm just, kind of a average guy. I like my sports, like, hanging out, playing golf, playing tennis, that sort of thing. And, I think this is great, an opportunity for people to, they see us on TV all the time in our suits doing our official stuff. And so it's fun to, just get to sit in some lawn chairs and wear some jeans and some flannel. And
I have to tell people before we do this, they say, like, dress casual. Yeah. This is not an official event. This is just for fun. Well, this was fun. Thank you for being with us.
This is great.
And check us out on Facebook, on TikTok, and we'll catch you next time. All right.